welcome to class. Thanks for joining me once again. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Gladys. I'm your pattern drafting teacher. In this tutorial, you'll be learning how to draft a palazzo trouser for bigger girls, 8 and 9 years old. The measurement for this draft are round waist measurement, round hip measurement, waist to hip length, waist to knee length, waist to full length, round thigh measurement, round knee measurement, and round foot measurement. In this draft, the waist is 26 inches, the hip is 30 inches, the waist to hip is 7 inches, the waist to knee is 20 inches, the waist to full length is 32 inches, and the round thigh measurement is 20 inches. The round knee is 16 inches and the round foot is 20 inches. For the crotch depth, I'll be using the formula 1/4 of hip measurement plus 1.5 inches. For hip 30 inches divided by 4 is 7.5 inches plus 1.5 inches is 9 inches. So the crotch depth is 9 inches. To begin, measure 2 inches below the top edge of your pattern paper and rule a line across. This is the top line and also the waistline of the draft. All measurements begins from this point. This particular trouser has 1.5 inches width waistband, and I will be taking that off from all the measurements. So that's why I'll be placing my tape measure 1.5 inches above the top line, and on that level down the pattern, I'll go ahead and measure waist to hip length, then waist to crotch depth, waist to knee length, and waist to full length of the pant. And I will be taking that 2 points on the pattern, after which I'll roll the lines across. That is the hip line, the crotch line, the knee line, and also the hem line, which is what I'm doing right now. After which I'll just go ahead and label them: waistline, hip line, crotch line, knee line, and hem line. Next, measure and mark 1/4 of hip width plus 1 inch is. For hip 30 inches divided by 4 is 7.5 inches plus 1 inch, that's a total of 8.5 inches. I'll be marking that on the waistline and on the crotch line, and then rule a straight line to connect both points. This is the center front of the draft. For the crotch length extension, on that crotch line, mark half of thigh measurement, which is 20 inches in this draft. 20 inches divided by 2 is 10 inches. And on that line, go ahead and mark 10 inches. On the angle, come out by about 1 inch or 1 1/8 inches, which is 3 centimeters. From the crotch length extension through the angle, connect the crotch curve as shown. Next, get the midpoint of that crotch length extension, which is measure from the side seam to the crotch length, divide the line into 2. This is the crease line of the draft. The crease line is the line on which all measurements are divided into 2 when drafting your trousers. So mark that from half of that from the side front, or it could be from the center front down the pattern, that is on the crotch line, on the knee line, and down to the hem. After which, use a broken line to connect the points. On the knee line, mark half round knee measurement, which is 16 inches in this draft. 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. So mark half the value left and right, the crease line, that is 4 inches on both sides. After which, connect the out seam from the knee level to the crotch line above. On the inseam, connect with a straight line using your pencil from the crotch extension to the knee line. After which, measure that line and get the midpoint. On the midpoint, go in by 3/8 inches, or that is 1 centimeter. Go ahead and connect from the crotch extension to the knee line with your curved ruler. This is because the thigh is not totally straight. Erase the pencil line since it is no longer needed in the draft. To complete the legs on the lower part, mark the same value on the knee line on the hem, that is 4 inches left and right decrease line, after which rule a straight line to connect the hem and the knee point. With this, you have a straight pant. For a wide leg palazzo, divide the round foot measurement by 2. In this draft, the round foot measurement is 20 inches. 20 inches divided by 2 is 10 inches. Mark half of that left and right the hem, that is 5 inches to the right and 5 inches to the left. From on this level, connect to the crotch length for a straight palazzo trouser. But for alternative leg shaping, you could connect from the hem up to the midpoint of the thigh, that is, get the midpoint of the thigh measurement, which was used earlier when curving in the leg. Mark both on the out seam and on the inseam of the thigh. Connect with broken line, and on this point, roll your palazzo trouser out seam line and inseam line to that level. With this, you have a palazzo pant that is fitted around the thigh and widen out on the lower hem, which is seen in the image we are using in this particular illustration. So your palazzo trouser can actually have alternative leg shaping depending on choice and fashion. You could choose either the straight or the fitted around the thigh style. Go ahead and mark the cut lines to avoid mistakes when cutting out the pattern. Next is the waist shaping of the trouser. To do this, mark 1 inch in from the side front on the waistline, after which connect with a curve to the hip level, curving it out just a little. This gives the trouser a curved natural hip shape on the hip area. Now measure and mark 1/4 inch of the round waist measurement from the side seam to the center front, which is 26 inches in this draft. 26 divided by 4 is 6.5 inches. So I'll be marking that on the waist, and whatever is left will be used as that. And in this case, what I have left is 1 inch. From the center front, mark 3.5 inches in and roll the dart line 4 inches below the waistline. And on that line, mark the dart depth ½ inch left and right for 1 inch dart intake. Complete the dart as shown. For the front drop waist, mark ½ inch below the waistline on the center front, and on that point, rule a line to the side seam, curving it in just a little. This is the waist drop of the draft. This follows the natural curve of the tummy. With this, the front block is complete. Go ahead and mark the cut line. I'll be drafting the back block over the front block, but before then, I'll be adding paper on the side front of the pattern. For the back block, mark 1 inch in from the center front waistline and go up to 1/4 inch on that point. Come down to the crotch line and mark 1.5 inches beyond the front crotch extension. This is the back crotch extension. Go ahead and connect the back crotch curve from the original front crotch length extension to the point above. I'll be using my blue marker to differentiate the back block from the front block. Blend the crotch area to avoid any sharp curve. On the waistline above, mark 1/4 inch of hip width plus 1 inch, same as was marked on the front block earlier. This is the back waistline, and on that point, connect to the crotch length, curving it out just a little. Make sure to blend out to avoid any sharp point. Now roll the waistline from the point above to the original side seam. Next is the leg shaping. On the knee level, mark ½ inch left and right the original front inseam and out seam line. Do the same on the hem, that is, mark ½ inch left and right on the hem. After which, you complete the leg seam. With this, the back block is actually bigger than the front block. Now, complete the upper part, curve it in a little from the crotch line to the knee level. On the lower part, complete the leg, rolling it a straight line to the hem. And on the out seam, also roll from the knee level to the hem with a straight line and complete the upper part, curving it in also just a little. Ensure to blend out properly to avoid curve or sharp points on your pattern. This is very important. So with this, the legs of the pattern are complete. Here we have the back block. The back waist shaping is actually the same as front waist shaping. So on the center back, mark 3.5 inches in, and on that point, drop the line, that line 4 inches below the waist. It is on this line you mark the dart depth, marking it 1/2 inch left and right that line, and then complete the dart as usual, which is dropping it to the dart point below. With this, the back block is complete. Go ahead and trace out the back pattern. After tracing out, I have the front and back block. Next is the pocket. The pocket will be drafted on the front block side seam. So on that side seam at the waist, go in by 1 inch and mark. And the depth of the pocket, mark 5 inches. And on that point, rule your pocket curve to the waistline. Next, for the pocket bag, mark 3.5 inches from the 1 inch point on the waistline, and on the hip line, mark 4 inches and connect the pocket bag. Curve it out as shown. The pocket bag could actually be deeper than this. It all depends on choice. After that, place another paper underneath and trace out the outer part of the pocket, that is from the side seam to the waistline and down the hip, for a complete pocket bag. After tracing it out, bring out the pattern paper and then use your marker to highlight the pocket shape traced on the pattern. After highlighting, it is safe to cut out the pocket on the pattern. So with this, you have the outer part of the pattern all traced out, and this is ready for use. Again, place another paper underneath and trace the outer part of the pocket bag. Trace from the hand entry to the waist area down the hip. After which, you use your marker to highlight the trace line on the paper underneath. Go ahead and cut it out. After cutting out, you have the complete pocket bag. Here I also have the complete pattern pieces, the front block, back block, and the pocket. So this will be all in this tutorial. See you in my next class. Bye for now.